Hey, let me know if you guys can hear me well. I just want to make sure the sound is working all good. Just let me know. Let me know in the chat how the sound is. Just checking it. Awesome, thank you.
Wow. That was the Roman Carnival Overture by Hector Berlioz, featuring English horn soloist Simon Lee from Singapore. And featuring the outstanding members of the YouTube Symphony Orchestra Viola section. Here they go. That's a famous excerpt they all have to play in their auditions, so they really were pumped to play it tonight. So it's time to meet another member of the orchestra.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, no more music, because it is time to learn. It's time for your tutorial. I know, it was nice, but the orchestra is 2 hours long, and, well, I doubt I'm going to be streaming that long. So let's just jump on over here. What's up? Hey guys, I'm Drawnonward. If you do not know me, I stream like every night. Come on, man. But tonight is all about microfilm. See, I've I've been doing these tutorial Tuesdays to help especially newer players, because well, the faster you can become a better player. The faster you can become better at Spy Party, and that makes better players make better games. That's kind of always been my mentoring strategy. There's no reason for me to hold back information if I can help it. I mean, there's some things I want to hide for a bit to maybe test out a strategy or something, but that's what these tutorials are for. They're to help you guys. If you don't know what's going on, this is the point. And if I say something and you have a question about it, ask in the chat. It will not be shown in the final video, which I'll be throwing on YouTube. But, I'll probably cover it. So, let's just jump right in. So we're doing it on microfilm. And hopefully that works. I'm just in practice mode here. So let's just show people how to do microfilm. Some people have a hard time with microfilm. I can understand. There's two ways to do it. So let's do the way I see most people do. They've got a book, nothing crazy. They'll walk around with it, and then they'll not time ad. You need to read your book. Oops. You get microfilm. That's a nice screen test. I love the animation when they do that. Like, then they put it back. And now if you already know this, that's fine. I am not saying that you can't do it one way or the other. I am just showing people because this is generally a more beginner tutorial. So now I have the microfilm from the blue book, and I'm gonna bring it on back. So I hide it in the green book with a white test, noticeably more obvious. And then I put the book back. That completes the mission. Now let's press what, Control M? Yeah, Control M stops that. I'm gonna add 1 billion hours of time. And then you get a book. This is the other way to do it. I've uncompleted the mission because it's practice mode. You walk on over to the blue bookcase. Nothing crazy going on. And you just kind of plop it off. That's another way to do microfilm. A lot of people don't know that. It seems like it's not hard. It's just a lot of people are never told that, and it's not the most obvious thing in the world. So, let us go and do a little bit more. Now, there's this thing in the practice mode called Preview Spy Missions, which I love to use on this night of streaming. All my other nights, I pretty much ignore it, because I know this. So, Purloin, Seduce, Inspect, Swap, Transfer. Now, this is a white test. So what happens is you white test it, you go, I'm going to get out that microfilm. I reach in my pocket. I look over, oh look, it's in the book. And then it's pretty slow. That feels fast for it. So this is it from behind, which is almost more important. I'd also like to note, and this I'm going to bring this up later, but you always use the right arm. Always use the right arm. The left arm always holds the book. Oops. So this is red test, which is just ridiculously obvious. It's comical. It is ridiculous. So he fumbles. He realizes it's not his hand. He goes, oh, there it is. I'll put it in, and then he like, it's ridiculous. And then we have green test, which is pretty hard to spot if you don't know what to look for. He very covertly gets it and just flops it in. It looks like a page turn if you're not paying attention. And the last one is you just hide it. Yes, that's in here too. It's really nice. So that's how you can do microfilm. That is the basics, the bare basics of how to do microfilm. What I'm going to go into is a little more of the specifics, not of a given game or some such. Oh, that's weird. But just help people with mainly the basics, and then go in a little bit at the end and a little deeper stuff, but only a little bit. And I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do next week at the end. It will not be Purloin, by the way. So, let's go on over to the sniper area, and let's just look around. Nothing crazy. So, as sniper, there's a few things you need to know. As somebody in my chat just mentioned, and something I was about to bring up, I swear, is that AIs will never put the wrong book, will never put a green book in the blue bookcase, or to put it more blanket statement, AIs will never forget which bookshelf they got their book from. They'll always put a blue book in the blue bookshelf, a green book in the green bookshelf, and they will never mess it up ever. So if you see red dress here, take a book, walk over to here, I'd just shoot her right away. I wouldn't even care. That means she's the spy. So, you can also mark books. So that's a blue book. That's a blue book. And you can just mark it. It's always like that. Spies cannot edit or interact with that at all. And so now if she walks over to the green bookcase, I can shoot her dead. Because she is the spy. And that's the biggest way to deter people from just walking on over. Now, people still might try it. I know I've still tried it. And generally, you just shoot in the face. That's how it happens, generally speaking. And I think that's one of the bigger things I feel like a lot of newer snipers miss, is that you can mark books. Sometimes I will even mark books as they put them away, just for funsies. That was clearly a bug, Snaps. Damn. So those are a few of the sniper basics about microfilm. Remember, you can mark the books, and that's a tool to help you. However, you watch out. Attention is a resource in the game, and I'm gonna go into that a little bit about the overarching ideas behind the mission. So, microfilm is really interesting as a mission because it reminds me of Bug, right? So Bug, it's kind of a do or die thing. They either see it, or they suspect it, or they miss it. There's 3 axes. In theory, there's kind of 2, where suspect is not part of it, but because we're humans and we miss and almost see things and think our mind plays tricks on us, there's really 3. And that's something you have to remember. So, microfilm is very similar. But the issue is that with Bug, you go like this. Yeah, man, done. That's the Bug. I got to complete 1 mission, done. With microfilm, the best you can do it is you go read, walk on over, read, put it in. That's it. It's like comparing looking at a book to lighting the book on fire. Because no one's going to notice you looking at a book. But if you light it on fire, everyone's going to be like, holy crap, that book's on fire. And that's more what microfilm is compared to Bug. Because Bug is just so much less obvious. Sure, you can get caught doing it, but that's the best comparison I can make within the game. Even if it sounds ridiculous. Because it does. So, now some of you may be wondering, well, okay, that didn't sound too hard. And it's funny, because I feel like most newer players, and even intermediate players, and even high-level players, have a hard time with microfilm, because it is one of the hardest missions to complete. You pretty much need to get green test against high-level players, or rather, not high-level, equal-level players. If you are both equal, there's this point where it's very hard to win if you just kind of jump right in and don't know what you're doing. So, I'm going to go into spy practice mode here, and hopefully help explain some of the things you might want to be doing as spy when you're attempting to microfilm. Now I'm just going to go on Ballroom because that's the map I expect us all to be familiar with. Panopticon is new and wacky. I'm not sure how to feel about it regarding all these. So, you know, Courtyard has no books, neither one. Veranda has 3 bookshelves. Balcony has none. And Ballroom, of course, has 2. So let's just jump onto Ballroom. So, hey, look, I'm already at books. So, now this is a bad time to... Okay, this is, at best, an okay time to microfilm. Assuming I'm doing it in the, you know, this kind of way. Like that. Like, look at this. Now, assuming that was a real sniper, and I'm undoing my microfilm as I talk. I have no cover. So let's put this book back. And by the way, don't cut your animations short. Just don't. I think I haven't said that in every tutorial Tuesday, but it's important. And I will have, maybe not a whole day, but I'm going to have a section where I talk about that. So you have a book, and this is a terrible time to do it because I have no cover. That's something you want to look for a spy. Is any cover. Somebody next to you. Great. Especially if they're on your right. It's amazing. A full CC here would just be fabulous. People over in this conversation circle would be great. And people at window would be nice too. Just on a personal level. So you walk on over, you read your book, and right here I go microfilm, white test, oh, I'm dead. That's how it works a lot of times against, well, a lot of players. You can also try microfilming at other areas of the map, which I'm just going to go into briefly here. I don't want to fill the entire tutorial Tuesday with where you can and can't. But you can microfilm in an empty CC. The moment somebody walks in, though, it gets ruined. They walk in, say, "What's up, buddy?" and you can't be that impolite. They'll go, "Hey, man, what's up?" and you're just like, "Dude, I want to read my book." You can also do it if you're just feeling balls of steel, man. You can do it at the window, which I've done. It's not a very good idea, but you can. Let's see, you can do it at these little at these painting portraits. That's nice too. It's great to do them when the back one's here, if you're really worried. Now remember, it's always your right arm. So you want to make sure it's covered. So when the CC is full, this is not bad. If this CC is full, probably a good idea. But you need to strategize. You can't just haphazardly do it unless you're, well, time's about to run out. That's probably the best time to do it. The cool thing is, unlike Bug, is unlike Seduce, and unlike Banana Bread, it can't move. So unlike this, where you're trying to microfilm, microfilm bug words. When you're trying to bug, you have to plan around the ambassador's shenanigans, her movement, his movement, depending on the current game. And microfilm is great because it doesn't move, but that's what makes it such a hard tell. At least I think. Now this would be an okay time to micro because I have a lot of random scattered cover. It's not great, but maybe with Toby leaving, I probably get shot. Probably. Now, I want to go into a let's make sure I'm on cue. Nothing. Oh, I don't want to time out on practice. How embarrassing would that be? So, oh yes, that's something else I wanted to mention. So, let's see. Whoa, hold on. Whoa. Okay. So there's two things I wanted to mention. One is that, well, microfilm is kind of interesting because unlike statues, unlike Bug, unlike Banana Bread, instead of one thing being what you need to look for, you kind of need to look for two. You need to look for them hitting up two bookcases, and I say that because Veranda and the new Panopticon exist, so it's not always just, hit up both bookcases, although for most people watching this, it's probably both at the moment, and that's fine. But an interesting tidbit is, before the stream tonight, and I'm not going to do this on stream, I feel like it'd be kind of a waste of time, but before the stream tonight, I watched 3 rounds as practice sniper. No spies. 0 spies were in these games. And I watched, and I remembered everybody's book. I marked all their books, and I remembered which one they went to even after they put them back. And I noticed something, and I already knew this, but I wanted to make sure it wasn't just a hunch, that in all the games, in the first game, 1 person went to both bookcases. Just random AI behavior. In the second game, 0 AIs went to both bookcases. 0 people. And in the last one, 1 person went to both bookcases. And the point I'm trying to make here is, if you see somebody hit up both bookcases, don't shoot them. Please do not shoot them. Please, no, don't jump the gun. But highlight them. Mark them as suspicious. Maybe consider that maybe that they did microfilm, and maybe you missed it. That's fine. We all miss stuff. That's part of the game. That's basically the point of the game when you really get down to it. But consider that. As Sniper, you need to be watching out for these things, and even though I feel like Sniper has a huge edge on this mission, just in general, that doesn't mean it's not important to get better. Let's see. Another thing I want to bring up is the fact that, and of course all those were on Ballroom, by the way. That's just kind of important. Another thing I want to bring up is that once you get comfortable with microfilm, a very scary thing happens. Assuming you're playing equal level players, here's what happens. You're a spy. You're comfortable with microfilm. Maybe you watch this, maybe you went into practice mode and just practiced a whole bunch. Well, your opponent is again, same skill level. Same number of games, or maybe less, but has learned faster or slower and has more games. It doesn't matter. But it's fascinating because as you get to that point, your opponent's there too, and that sounds obvious. You guys are equal skill level. But it's funny because you try out these tricks with microfilm, and your opponent ideally either knows or suspects of those same tricks. So it's very scary. And that's why microfilm, I would say, is Sniper favorite currently. The tells are much harder than most missions. And I'm not saying don't do microfilm. You should always try out new things. As a player, explore, learn. It's a game. That's like the point, is to have fun and learn. But it's a skill-based game, and you want to think about these kinds of things. You always need to be aware that your opponent's probably going to be on the same level if they're at the same level of play. Like if they have the same number of games, same wins, loss, or around there. Your opponent's going to probably know what's up and probably keep track of some of the things you are. So you have to be cautious. Another thing to note is the fact, where is it? Um, is that, again, you can mark books. And that's a big part of it. Because if you, oh, I don't know, notice your opponent doesn't mark books, you can take advantage of that. That's great. That's a little on the higher level of the things I want to go into today, which I'm not going to go into much. This is beginner stuff. But it's something I want to mention. If you notice that they do mark books, you might consider that they feel pretty comfortable with that, and maybe they might slip up or something. Bookmarks do show up on the endgame log. Very good question. And let's see, I want to pull up a video here. So let's just find out where this went. All right, and then I think I don't know what all the timings are here, but let's hope this works. And so we go there, there. Every time, man. I swear. Alright. Yeah, alright. Hold on. I know it's a blank screen. That will end soon. That will end soon. Whoa, wrong one. Every time, man. About there, and we just kind of jump on over here. Kind of toss that in the middle. Now, these are a few games I practiced in a way. I can make it dance. Now this is just to show you guys, as sniper, the difference between, because white tests are easy to see, I would say. If you notice one, you're pretty sure. However, green tests are often a common worry, I would say, personally. So what this clip is here to show is the fact that that it's tough, and these are probably the best way to remember. This is at least how I do. Excuse me. So now I know the spy is this fellow. I know this because, well, I had to get the footage somehow. And this is a cast member, so it can't be the spy. Now, we're going to be watching quite a few times this fellow. He green ATs on microfilm over here. Now, I'd like to know this fellow's turnout 8. He's very helpful and a very good player. If you ever need help, you can ask him for mentoring or whatnot. So, that's him turning a page. We're discussing things because I'm trying to get things on the go. Oh yeah, that's hilarious. I love the way you cancel microfilm. So, you kind of saw it there because you saw his right arm. Fairly certain that was a white test. But if you notice, that's a green test. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you from various angles. Now that might sound kind of silly, but the way I do it is when I see somebody and I think it's a green test, if I'm lucky, I'm already suspicious of them, and I can count. And what I mean by that is similar to how I figure out kind of green test time ads, is I count the seconds. And what you hear is a page turn. I kind of go 1, because you can just do that. I'm gonna go back a little bit and show that 1. It's just a full second. But green test, it goes, well, that's a white test if I ever saw one. But what you can do is you can count the arm motion, assuming you see it. Jump ahead a bit. You can count the arm motion and go, oh, that's red test. Jeez, don't get that. I'll shoot you. Please don't do that. You can just go 1, 2. Hopefully, assuming a green test actually happens. 1, 2. And you just count that 2. It's really minor. It's really hard to see. And I feel like that's one of the better ways to notice it. But it's also good to just see it over and over. I think, here we go. Yeah, that's where it happens. So what I'm gonna do is he's just turning the page normally here. Nothing crazy. And then he starts going into green tests. Kind of sporadically. Right around the end. And it's kind of nice to see the difference directly on the same character model. Just normal page turning. Just kind of goes 1. 1. Just a swift motion. 1, 2. See, it's impressive. It's really interesting, I feel, how, and I'm thanking him because he helped me. And it's really interesting how microfilm is really tough, man. Let me just get this out there. Microfilm is hard, okay? It's not like undoable, it's not unwinnable, it's not impossible to perform, but it's difficult. I mean, you basically need to green test after a certain point, or to make sure the sniper can't see you, which is something I covered in the swap and bug tutorial, but I'm gonna minorly go over here. I suggest you head over to that one, though, for my full tidbit on this. And as sniper, you just have a much easier time, generally speaking, looking out for it. That doesn't mean snipers never miss it. It doesn't mean things don't happen. It's kind of like, generally speaking, I prefer to walk a book over on a larger map, and on a smaller map, I prefer not to microfilm. But that doesn't mean I won't do it, because you learn that way. So, the thing I wanted to talk about, the last thing, I think this will be the last thing. This is a pretty short tutorial Tuesday, because microfilm, there's a lot of nuances that I can't fully go into, I feel, with just a beginner tutorial, which I apologize for. So let's head over to Beginner Ballroom, and once again, just go over cover. Just go over and see where good cover is, why it's good cover, etc. Now, I would want to be over here. Look at all this movement. Look at all this fogginess that the sniper has to see through. You walk over here. Now, see, that's bad. Another thing I want to note is that you should always pause before picking up items like books and statues. Again, I mentioned this in Bug and Swap, but it's important. You go, you want to take a deep breath, look at the time, think about how great your life is, and then you do that. Now suddenly it's not so great. Now that conversation's pretty full, but it's not exciting. I'm not excited to microfilm here. But the other one's even worse. It kind of looks worse. And you need to consider that at all times. That's why, if this was full, and this was full, I would almost be tempted, especially if I already had a book, I would definitely do this. I would almost be tempted to grab the book, and of course don't cut your animation short in a real game, and read it like this, and just microfilm. Green AT, and then I get cut off. But you get the idea. To microfilm there, it's risky, and they can totally see your right hand. But if you go right here, they cannot see it very well. It's kind of nice. Now, many times as you're microfilming, a sniper will just kind of waltz on over, come over here, see your arm, and get shot. It's pretty terrible. So, let's see. I think I've gone over cover enough. Now, you can't read in a full or even a CC with anyone else in it. But the moment it's empty, you can read. The moment it's empty, you can read. Then you green test. Looks like that. And then because you're silly, you walk it over to the bookcase, not actually completing the mission. Because I've already taken the microfilm out, so it doesn't even matter. So, let's see. I think I covered all the important bits. The other ones were a lot shorter, and I think it's kind of interesting. And it says a lot about the mission. I would say mechanically it's simple, but it's hard to pull off. Yes, you cannot microfilm in a CC with anyone else in it. The moment they do, you will be rude, and the game goes, hold on, mister. Yeah. So, I think that's all the big bases on microfilm. I think that's all the big important stuff. I went over walking it over, I went over extracting it from the book. Let's see. Now a question's been asked in the chat about when is the best time to read. And that's what I've been going over with cover. You only care about cover. I don't care. I mean, I don't care what else is happening in the party. I only care about cover. And note where the sniper's looking. Now there's a point where snipers will know to not be looking where their laser is. I would say that point comes fairly quickly in a sniper's lifetime as a sniper. And I would be dead right there. But it's just something you need to consider, and it's something that's helpful in lower levels of play, is that the sniper will not always be looking where their laser is, and earlier on, they will. So I think it's just important to know where the laser is or cover is. See, this is nice. I would not. Oh well, it's okay. Green testing, it makes everything better. Um. So I'm trying to think if I missed anything. I feel like I did, but I can't recall anything, and I can't make this go much crazy. So let me get out of here and say goodnight. Well, kind of goodnight. Very short. So I'm pretty sure I covered everything. At least I hope I did. If not, I will correct it in the comments below. This will be on YouTube and whatnot. So I hope this helped. I hope that this helps people, this helps newer players, and you guys can get better at microfilm. Even if you maybe still don't do it as often, you know more about the mission and can do it better and more successfully in the future. I do suggest you practice though in real games, but be careful about it on ballroom and smaller maps. It's hard. Trust me, it's hard. So I hope this helped. The next tutorial Tuesday, I wanted to announce this. I don't want to forget this. It's not on Purloin. It's not on Purloin. I'm not doing Purloin next week. And I want to explain why, and then go into what I am doing. Purloin is too new for me to do a tutorial Tuesday on it. We do not know enough about Purloin yet. So, instead, I am going to jump up a bit on the player level I'm going to. The next tutorial Tuesday, I'll be looking at a few games from, well, a decent to high level player. I don't know who yet, to be honest. I'll tweet it out. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Drawnonward. I'll mention it when I start the stream next week. If you just want to join me then, that's fine too. But I'm going to be looking at some games, and I'm going to be analyzing why maybe intermediate players and lower should be trying to emulate some things I'm going to focus on. That doesn't mean you always need to do them, but I want to show some things that either I think maybe could done more or maybe could be done less. Probably more on the done more one. Maybe it's highly technical gameplay. Maybe it's just minor subtleties, which I want to point out and let everybody be aware of, because this game has a lot of that. So, I believe that's it for the night. I'm Drawnonward. This is what I call myself. And thank you for joining me. Good evening. Gonna put on some music. Gonna continue the music from earlier. Oh yeah, some music for your music loving ears.